I did a presentation with two girls. It was about money, healthcare, and transportation. It was for the new ALTs who were coming to Japan. I've already finished it. I did it on Friday, but while it's still fresh in my mind, I thought I'd just go through it. Although it was quite interesting, I thought it made up a blog. So this is what I've been working on all summer, and I've been making these slides as well. It's taken me it's taken me all summer basically. So the first girl spoke about money. I won't go through all of that, I'll just show you that. Then the next girl, Diana, she went through healthcare, which was quite funny. It's quite good, actually, her presentation. Anyway, I made all of these slides look really good, so I got most of the credit for it. I'll tell you about the feedback that we got at the end. My part was quite rushed, but if I didn't tell them all of the information, they wouldn't have known, and I only had about 15 minutes, so this is probably going to go on for about 18 minutes, but this is me doing it as fast as I can. It's a lot of information, you don't have to worry about retaining it, but I just thought I'd show you, because this is what I've been doing this summer. Right, so now I'm going to talk about transportation. I'm going to talk to you about riding the train, the bus, taxis, planes, ferries, driving in Fukuoka, and being a pedestrian in Fukuoka. Let's go straight into it. Let's talk about riding the train. This is an IC card. It comes in many forms. I have a Sugoka card, which I showed them there, which looks a little like this. So what is it? It's an electronic wallet. It can be used for transportation at some convenience stores, at some vending machines. It's usable throughout Japan, but be careful because remote areas don't have IC card readers. And registered cards can be replaced if lost. So where can we find one? Where can we buy one? We can buy them from manned JR stations, manned Nishitetsu bus stations. How much does it cost? It costs 2,000 yen. 500 of that will be for the cost of the card itself, and 1,500 of that you'll be able to use as credit. So what's a minus point about the IC card? Well, they can't be used on all train journeys. For example, non-JR Japanese rail trains can't use them. For example, the Heisei Chikaho line doesn't accept IC cards. Can't be used on certain buses. For example, Kitakyushu City requires a Himawari bus card, which is one of those there. So let's say I want to go from Fukuoka City to Tagawa City. I have to go via Shinizuka Station. For the first part of the journey, I would take the Fukuhoku Yutaka line. There I can use my IC card. But when I go from Shinizuka to Tagawa, I have to take the Gotoji line, which I can't use that card. I have to buy a ticket. So where can I buy a ticket? Well, they can be purchased at these ticket machines. Let's have a look at how they work. On the left-hand side is the number of tickets you want to purchase. You can charge your IC card here. This is the value of the ticket that you'll buy. So let's just have a look at the map above the ticket machine. So the red square with the big red arrow pointing towards it is the current station. In this case, it's Shinizuka Station. If I wanted to go to Tento Station or Kamimio Station, I would have to buy a ticket with the value of 210 yen. And I can use that ticket to go to either of those two stations. So then I would click 210 yen, and then I would go to pay for it at the bottom here. So the total amount comes up in the top right hand corner here. This is the total cost. I can insert my IC card here, insert my bills and my coins here. The ticket will be dispensed at the bottom left hand side here, and my coins in change will be dispensed here. I can also cancel at any time if I throughout the transaction if I press this top left hand red button here. So what other tickets can I buy? So there's a special discount called a Teiki Ken. You can buy it if you go to the same stations again and again. It can save you money. You can buy one for 1 month, 3 months, or 6 months. You can have unlimited journeys between select stations. It can be used on trains or buses. It can be purchased from manned stations, and they can be used at the intermediary stations as well. How much does it cost? Well, it depends on how much on your chosen destinations. So let's say, for example, I want to buy one of these between Shinizuka Station and Tagawa Gotoji Station. I can also get on and off at the intermediary stations as well. There are other special discounts available. For example, all-day subway passes, university term time, vacation discounts. For more information, please see the handbook on page 29. So we're at the station. What do? We go through one of these ticket gates. This is how we use the gate. We can insert our ticket here or swipe our IC card here. If we use our IC card, our credit information will come up on the screen here. the gates will open, and then I must remember to collect my ticket if I've used the ticket on the other side, because I'll need it at the next station. If I use my IC card and I run out of credits throughout my journey, I can use a recharge station here to top up my credit. Let's go onto the platform. This is the boarding information. The line information is displayed at the top here. The destination is displayed here. The platform or track number is on the far right. The departure time is here. The number of carriages on the train is displayed here. And on the far left is the train type. So let's have a look at the train type. There are various different train types that you can catch in Fukuoka. Let's have a look at them. So for example, let's say we're going from Fukuoka City to Kitakyushu City. There are many train types that we can get. Let's have a look at them from slowest to fastest. At slowest is the local train. It stops 28 times. It takes 101 minutes. It costs 1,290 yen. The rapid service only stops 15 times and only takes 61 minutes. But if you live in a particularly rural area, please make sure that this train stops at your station. Then there is an express, or the limited express. It only stops 3 times. It takes only about 48 minutes. It costs the same amount of money, but you have to buy a seat fee as well. You purchase those on the train. The Ticketmaster will come and collect your fare. Or you can take the Shinkansen, the bullet train. It doesn't stop at all, it's on a different line. It only takes 18 minutes. The base ticket costs less than the others, but you have to pay an expensive seat fee as well. You can purchase either an unreserved, a reserved, or a green card ticket, a green carriage ticket. The green carriage is JR's version of first class. So let's have a look at the timetable on the platform. So it goes from weekdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Let's have a look at the weekdays. So at the top is the train number. The left-hand side is the destination. The time in o'clock is written from at the side, so it goes from 5 to 23. That's 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. A lot of Americans don't know that, you see. Time in minutes is displayed at the side. So the earliest train today would be the number 50, arriving at 7:21 a.m. There's a website that you can use as well called Hyperdia.com. We recommend using the web browser instead of the app because the app costs money and it isn't as good as the web browser. You type in where you're going from and where you're going to. Be careful with your spelling, and sometimes you need a hyphen if the station name has 2 words in it. For example, Buzen Kawasaki requires a hyphen. You won't find it if you use a space. And then just press search and your fares and times would be displayed here on the screen. Okay, so let's talk about riding the bus in Fukuoka Prefecture. These are 2 examples of what the bus stops might look like, and as you can see, there's a timetable at the bus stop that works exactly the same as the train timetable. When riding the bus, please get on at the middle door because the front door is the exit. People will be getting off here. The destination is written at the front and the side of the bus. When you get on the bus, tap your IC card on this device here or take a boarding ticket. The boarding ticket will have a number on it. Please make note of this number because you will see at the front of the bus there'll be an electronic screen. Sorry, but I'm in front of myself there. It will either be the one on the right or the one on the left, depending on whether you get on an older bus or a newer bus. The next stop is written here, and your ticket number is written here. That's actually the white number, which is this one. That refers to the ticket number. So let's say, for example, you got on at number 7. It would say number 7 on your ticket. You would pay 260 yen, which is the price beneath it, which is this number here. Okay, so let's say you want to stop. You press this button, it will request to stop, and then you go to the front of the bus and you pay using this machine here. So you have to insert your exact fare and ticket into this box here, or you can swipe your IC card. If you don't have the exact change, you can get change by inserting your coins and bills here, and you can receive your change in coins at the bottom. You can also charge your IC card on the bus. All you have to ask for is charge onegaishimasu, and then the bus driver will let you charge your card. That's in action. Okay, and what is this information at the front of the bus? What does it mean? Okay, so let's break it down. So the bus number is written on the far right. In our case, it's number 4. The destination is written here. In our case, it's Fukuoka Tower. The main transit stops are written here, and this blue sign here means that it's a rapid service. You can also take a coach within Fukuoka. You can also take a coach to go to other places in Kyushu or to travel to Honshu, the main island. Notice how there's only one door, so please let everybody get off the bus before you try and get on. You'll notice there are some Roman characters at the front of this coach. This tends to be the case in the inner cities, but as you go into the more rural areas, it'll all be in Japanese.
There's a really useful app which is free called the NNR Bus Navi Nishitetsu app. Nishitetsu is the name of a bus company that runs in Fukuoka Prefecture. You can search, I recommend finding your location on a map or your locations on a map, because using the keyboard search is a little more difficult. You can press the arrow key in the bottom left-hand corner to find out your current position, location using GPS. Once you've done that, you can press search and the times and fares will be displayed here. If nothing comes up, it may require a transfer, in which case you might have to press the includes transfer function. Then if you press the top right-hand key, you can press save as my route, so you don't have to input this information all the time. It will then save it to a list, like this one here. These are all of the journeys that I regularly take, so I can just press on one of these and it'll bring up the times instantly. If I press on one of my journeys, for example this one, the number 3, I can find out where the bus is in real time, because the bus has GPS. So all of the red stops are the stops that the bus has already passed, and the blue stops are the stops that the bus has yet to pass. You can buy coach tickets if you're travelling further afar. They can be purchased at manned bus stations, so you can buy it online at www.highwaybus.com. It's only in Japanese, though, unfortunately, as most websites are in Japan. Okay, quick word about riding the taxis in Fukuoka Prefecture. There's usually a minimum charge of 580 to 670 yen. Just to put that into pounds, that's like £4 or £3.50. There's a late night surcharge. Save a number in your phone just in case. Get in the back left-hand door, and the door opens automatically. The driver will press a button. You don't have to open the door. In fact, they get a little bit angry when you try and open the door. There will be these kanjis on the front of the bus on the digital display, which will determine whether it's vacant, en route, or reserved. But I recommend just putting your hand out anyway, because sometimes I think they forget to change the electronic board on the front of the taxi. So I highly doubt that anybody will have to take a plane to go to work, but if you want to travel while you're in Fukuoka, we're in luck, because we're very well connected domestically and internationally from Fukuoka Airport. A bit slow. You can go to all of these places directly from Fukuoka, and you can go further afar as well. You can go to Honolulu in Hawaii. You can also go directly to Amsterdam. I recommend using Peach, Jetstar, or Skymark for cheap fares, but as always, it's best to use something like Skyscanner, a comparative website, to get the best deal. Before you travel abroad, you must get a travel form from your supervisor. It looks a little bit like this. Give it to your supervisor at least 2 weeks prior to your departure. That's because there's a chain of higher managers that need to authorize you leaving the country. This needs to be done for insurance purposes, so please give them the respect they need and give them to them 2 weeks prior. When you're at the airport, please do fill out this re-entry form. If you don't do so, you may have to go to the embassy and you may not be able to get back into the country. It will be stapled into your passport, but please do make sure you don't lose that. And please fill out and check one of these boxes without fail. Okay, then riding the ferry. So again, we're very well connected in Fukuoka using the ferry. From Hakata ferry terminal, you can go to the surrounding islands, and you can also go to Korea. From Shinmoji, which is in Kitakyushu City, you can go to Osaka or Kobe. It's a very cheap option, much cheaper than getting the bullet train. Shinmoji is very close to Kokura Station in Kitakyushu. Kokura Station is the main train station there. You can catch a bus to go to Shinmoji ferry terminal. So you can get to many places around Japan using the ferry. Let's have a word about driving in Japan. So this is an international driver's permit. It is valid for 1 year. It has to be obtained in your home country, so you either have one now or you don't have one at all. Except if you are American, you can also apply for the AAA Automobile Association. They will allow you to apply for one from Japan. You must have your original driver's license and legal identification at hand with an international permit whilst driving. This is a Japanese driver's license. It's required after the international driver's permit expires. Please begin to apply well before your international driver's permit expires. It requires a test or an exchange of a current license depending on which country you're from. If you're from any of these countries, you don't have to take the practical test. You can just have a translation of your driver's license. Also, if you're from any of these 3 places in America, Maryland, Washington, D.C., or Hawaii, you also don't have to take the test. You have to say places, not states, because the Hawaiians don't like to be thought of as state of America, or some of them don't. But please be aware that you must have been a resident for 3 months after passing a test in these places. If you're an American jet and you have an international driver's permit, only 2 automobile associations issue valid international driver's permits. That's the AAA and the National Automobile Touring Alliance. So if you want to take your test, you have 2 options. You can either take the examination straight away, but you'll almost definitely fail, or you can go and take driving lessons with 2 driving schools. The driving school names are places that are place names, but please be aware that all of the lessons and all of the tests, all of the examinations take place in Iizuka City, which is pretty much equidistant from Kitakyushu City and Fukuoka City. So one of those driving schools is called Nomu Driving School. You can only do a 2-hour lesson, which is about 15,120 yen. In British pounds, that's about £120 or £110. The Hakata Driving School, they do an hour lesson for 8,330 yen, which is about £45. Or they do a 2-hour lesson for 12,860 yen, which is about £80. Yeah, about £80, yeah. So for all of the required documents, please see the handout. I'll show you that in a minute. For the entire process, please see the handout. For buying a vehicle or renting a vehicle, please see the handout. You can get all of this information on the internet, but it will not be relevant to Fukuoka Prefecture, whereas the handout will be. If you're looking to buy or buy a vehicle or just drive in general in Japan, please do keep the handout because it will be very useful for you. So a little word about pedestrian crossings. If you're an American, you'll be used to stopping at a red light, but being able to turn right, providing there are no pedestrians crossing the road. This is not the case in Japan. Of course, in Japan, we drive on the left-hand side of the road. When the red light is on, you must not go anywhere. You must wait until there is a green light or a green arrow before you can turn left or right. You can turn left or right, providing there are no pedestrians crossing the road. If you're from Great Britain or a country with similar driving rules to Great Britain, you will be accustomed to being able to go if there's a green light or a green arrow turning left. You will not have to worry about pedestrians crossing the road. That isn't the case in Japan. You must wait because the pedestrians have right of way even though there's a green light. When there's no pedestrians coming, then you can cross, then you can go. Okay, and a quick word about being a pedestrian in Japan. Japan is a very safe country, but you still must be very careful when crossing the road, and particularly in Japan. When you're waiting to cross at a designated pedestrian crossing, you will find that there will still be cars that will just drive straight through and won't stop for you. I took this video a few days ago near my house. It was the first video I took. I didn't have to wait long. Let's take a look at it. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it is the law to stop when you see a pedestrian waiting to cross in Japan, but more than 90% of vehicles don't stop at crosswalks without lights despite the presence of pedestrians. As in a survey done with 10,700 motorists were surveyed and only 786 of them stopped. This is the law, however. You must stop when there's pedestrians waiting to cross the road at a designated pedestrian crossing, and if you take the practical driving examination, you will have to stop at a pedestrian crossing. If you don't stop, you will fail because it's against the law to do so. Also, with pedestrian crossings with lights, you will find that even when the light turns red and you go to cross the road, people will still be driving through to try and make the red light. That's because it is legal to go through the light on orange in Japan, but it's illegal to go through red. But of course, people speed up and they try and go through the red light. I must admit, this next video was the second video that I took. The first video was when somebody was going through an orange light, which is technically legal. But the second video I took was this one here. Let's take a look. So please do be careful when crossing the road in Japan. Okay, that brings us to the end of our presentation. We'd like to ask if you've got any questions. Thank you very much. And then after the questions, I'll say, oh, thank you for watching our presentation. We hope you had a good time. We hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please do come and ask us throughout the day. We'll be happy to help. The end.